This is Mario Andretti, and you are listening to Below the Yellow Line.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Below the Yellow Line. Thankfully, the 2024 NASCAR season and ARCA season is almost here. It's been an excruciating offseason, longer than normal. I think it's been 7 months since that checker flag dropped at Phoenix, rather than just, 3 or less than that at this point. But tonight, something to quell your off-season woes. Caleb Costner, a driver from the ARCA Menard Series, is joining the show. So thank you so much for joining the show. How are you doing tonight?
Yeah, no, thanks you guys for having me. No, doing really well. As a matter of fact, it's been hectic, obviously, trying to juggle going full-time racing and running a business full-time. As a matter of fact, we're at our job right here. So we at the start of the year we took over Team Penske's cleaning contract. So I'm actually sitting in Team Penske in the video room, video conference room. They break down the footage room. And so, yeah, I'm in a pretty cool spot, but doing this interview, but yeah, found a little break here in the action and wanted to hop on with you guys.
Well, I appreciate it, and it's very appropriate. You're in a video conference room for a video conference. Now, I'm probably just about the least important person that's ever been on that screen in that room, but I'm honored to say I've technically, virtually been inside the Team Penske shop. Didn't know that was going to happen today.
Yeah,
Cool thing to cross off the bucket list.
We'll give you a virtual
there
tour
you go.
here. So
yeah. All right.
Won't you join us up here? So
absolutely. If there are any secrets in there, NASCAR drivers, teams, whoever are infamous for trying to get any advantage they can. Every single when this video gets like 10 million views, it'll be because all those executives at Hendrick and Penske, JGR, well, Penske already knows it, but all those big team executives going to be combing through. Okay, what was that serial number on the Coke machine? What aerodynamic secret is held in that Coke machine? Who knows? Probably just some
that's all right.
After
this video, anyways, I probably won't be here. I guess they might be like, "Hey, that was it." So no, I'm kidding.
Can't be giving away too many secrets at the Team Penske shop. But I just talked about the start of the season, but everybody, Caleb, has a unique start in racing. Nowadays, it seems like the default answer is I started racing go-karts at 4 years old. I was a childhood prodigy. But what is your story? How did Caleb Costner get into auto racing?
Man, that's a great question, right? My previous career, it was always like that default answer, right? It's just that cliche that everybody kind of gives you, right? But when it comes to being now a race car driver, man, I dreamed about it just like a lot of guys do, right? I realized the opportunity at hand and the opportunity, the blessing I have, like I'm saying, that's just presented to me. A lot of guys don't, they dream of doing this. I dreamed of doing it. So, as a kid, this is all I ever dreamed of doing. Started racing, when I was a kid, but a lot of kids have that, like, you started when you were like 4 years old, and I was like 12 years old when I begged my parents to even consider. I had a neighbor that moved in, Tyler Lester. I'm sure a lot of racing guys around my age kind of familiar with Tyler. He was a great racer, and he kind of got me into it. I saw he had a legend car and bandos up for sale up across the road, and that started like the questioning to my parents, like, hey, I want to get involved. How can we do this? And then ultimately we bought actually one of my first bandos from Tyler. And we only ran like 3 races because we quickly found out just how expensive it is. And my parents, blue collar, one of them works at Freightliner, the other another industrial plant. And I was like, dude, we can't do this. So it quickly ended. As quick as it began, it ended. And I was about 15 years. I was 15 years. I had a job permit. My first job was at Subway, of all places. And so I was a sandwich artist. And whenever I was 15, you could get a job permit. So I got a job permit. And from that point forward, like, I was just determined to make money to buy a race car. And sure enough, I did. I bought my first Fox body Mustang. I bought a chassis one, and the entry level at that point for me probably was 4-cylinder. So a track that may be familiar with people is East Lincoln Speedway. I went the dirt route, and that was my home track. At the time, Ray Evernham was doing a lot with that track. You had like the Legends Dirt Midgets cars, when that was a thing. And so he had those there, and it was cool. It was a good opportunity for me to get there, and I ran for a couple seasons up till I was about 18 years old. So I don't know, like 3 or 4 years that we ran some different things, modifieds, late models through those years, and then I got to that age where I like, okay, this is not going to be a career. What do I do? And so I was faced with the reality of I was going to have to find a legitimate career that could, I mean, not that it's not, but I knew something was going to pay the bills, just something more safe. And so that's, I did, I went into as a first responder for almost a decade, and kind of just put all the racing stuff on the back burner. I mean, you never lose your passion for it. I always paid attention. I always, Jordan Anderson is a great friend of mine, somebody I leaned on. I would always try to support, and through some different common mutual connections that got us talking back when he was running dirt late models at Carolina, right? Because Carolina is my other hometown dirt track. So just a lot of common connections there. Stayed in touch over the years, and about 5 years ago is really how the story kind of starts back up, and that's I got an opportunity to run a legend car at Hickory Motor Speedway. It was a one-off. It was actually for my buddy Tyler Lester again, and so got back with him. And just, from that moment, we knew it was just going to have fun, and I got hooked. And I was like, man, I miss this. Gosh, I can't believe I've not done this for years. And so that kind of opened the door to my uncle saying, hey, I've got a car, come race it some. It was a 4-cylinder. It was purely just to have fun, right? Because I'd raced late models, raced some other stuff. We were just trying to have fun. And, I think that's probably the best, I guess, overall you feel when you go to the track. You're like, I'm just here to have fun. Everything gets so serious when you get to this kind of level that we're at now. But even then, like I said, about 4 years ago, I guess, at that point when I got but we got in his dirt car, and we were just having fun with it. And we did. We enjoyed it for for about a year. And then I have never in my life had a sponsor at that point, never had anybody to support me. And one of my best friends, he works, is a like a pipe fitting welding company. And he talked to his boss, and he said, hey, would you be interested in helping Caleb, my buddy? And he's like, yeah, sure. And I never knew from that moment. His name's Craig Hubner, and industrial fabricators. And so it just from that point, I never thought that I would ever get a sponsor. And I mean, he invested in me pretty well, and from the start, and it gave me hope to take it to that level. And just honestly, since that moment that I found that first sponsor, it's been a blur, because that gave me like the confidence to like, okay, let's go get another sponsor. And I quickly went from running dirt cars to dirt modifieds to, meeting some other people in the industry. And a great friend of mine, Daryl Krentz, used to run Winston West Series. And he'd give me opportunities in some cars. And then that led to owning some pro late models, and then pro late models to ARCA. And so, and that was, I think, I made my first ARCA start in 2021. So it really, I don't know other than the fact to say I'm here, then, I've just worked so hard and never gave up, and just, beat the pavement, man. Like, just not giving up, because that's the biggest thing. There's so many times you're faced with like, this isn't worth it. It's over. Like, I'm done. And I was faced a couple times like that, but I was like, I'm so close. I'm so close. Like let's do this. And ultimately led to the partnership I have with my partner Aaron Weaver, and what we've built today, and running full time this season. And it's just again, it's a blur. It's a dream. I'm happy to be here, and that's a guess roundabout way to tell you about how we got here. I mean, there's a lot of ins and outs in between there, but I guess that's kind of the gist of it.
Well, that dream of yours has worked out pretty well, and it's even brought you all the way to the high banks of Daytona, where you'll race in a few weeks. But before that, you guys got a chance to go test there. What was it like? And maybe this was a full circle moment for you to be out there on those hallowed grounds that we all dreamed to be on one day. Not me in a car. I'll be there in the stands for the first time. Please do not put me in a car.
Awesome.
I would wreck everything. But what was it like for you as a driver to be out there to say, okay, I didn't just make it to the national stage. I made it to one of the most famous sporting buildings, racetracks in the world. What was that like, making those laps? And was that your moment where you kind of realized that, hey, I've made it. I've turned this dream into a full-time career and reality?
I think the moment that hit me was, and I don't know if you were aware, so I did run Daytona last year. I did race an ARC race there. So really, last year going into the test, was a moment of highs and lows. And again, people who don't know about, us as a team, me as a driver, last year we took our car. We were like, hey, we're going to run Daytona. Well, I'm not afraid to admit the failures, right? Because that's even more to brag about of where we've come from. It's like seeing the story of like a Ross, or somebody like that that's made it to where they're at and where they come from. And with our story, right, it's we unloaded last year at the test, and our car never hit the track. I mean, I was mortified. I was so embarrassed, right? I mean, you worked so hard. You're here at the test. Like, that's not what we come here to do. That's not saying much about our program, right? And then we brought a totally different piece back for the race, right? We really put our heads down. We got it right. We made some changes. And, overall, we had a really, really mileage motor for the Daytona race. And our setup was a little off. And, it was like throwing a parachute out when I wasn't right up behind somebody. So it was I learned a lot through that. But I think that moments when I first got there, did the test last year, it was like, wow, like you said, the first time pulling in, it's like, this is something. This is awesome. Like, I always dreamed to get to this point, right? And then the race, when we ran the race, ran it clean, finished on the lead lap, didn't put a scratch on the car. That was a moment for me, my partner, and the team, and everyone else involved. Like, wow, we can really do this. This was awesome. What an opportunity. And then, we had our motor refresh, went back to Talladega a couple months later, and we were running sixth for, 12 laps. And we had a great, strong run going on. And a lot of people, again, probably didn't recognize it and see it. But, we did, considering how far we come and how much of an effort we put forth. And the result really showed us. It was a bummer because we ultimately blew a right front and killed our car. But that's the same car that 30 days later, the same car after putting a clip on it that we raced at Charlotte, So it's just showing how far you can come with little resources, and we made the most of it. And yet now to come back, full circle this year at the test, to have a brand new car, because this is a whole entire new car to us. So it's our second complete car. We actually are picking our third complete car tomorrow. We've got our fourth car getting sent off, putting a body on it. Like, this is huge for us, right? I mean, last year we were just thinking about going to Daytona with one car, and we've got three complete and the fourth getting sent off. Like, I didn't ever anticipate us growing like this. And so I'm just thankful. And, the message I guess to put on anybody is that it can happen, just don't give up. And I'm going to take in every second that I can of it and make the most of it. And, when Daytona comes this year, man, we've got a really fast car, and I'm looking forward to drafting with those guys and trying to push it to the front, and make something happen.
We can't wait to see you out there. And the last thing before I let you go, so you can go, get out of the building before the I don't know who's in there, the security guards force you out for looking at the special aerodynamic Coke machine. One of the things you mentioned there, you have 3 or 4 cars, and people may be saying, well, they only ran 3 races last year. Why do they need 3, 4 full cars? You're going full time this year with Costner Weaver Motorsports and the number 93 car. How did that deal kind of come together, and what are your expectations for the team here as you try to make a run this season?
Right. Oh, I think the biggest thing about me personally, and then our team, and with a lot of people that I know, is I keep it just completely honest up front about our expectations, man, and like where we are as a team, right? I don't try to put out these false expectations, right? We just try to be as real as we can as a team, and that's last year I think we ended up running 6 races as a team, I believe. Isaac Johnson raced for us at IRP, and then I ran the other 5. But to do those and to take it to the next level here, we've had some partnerships come together. I mean, we've gotten 3 new additional sponsors in the off season. My partner has expanded some business. My company has grown. So there's a lot of personal involvement, like blood, sweat, and tears that we've all put into this personally to want to see this grow. And so, yeah, I mean, like you said, you can make one car work. And even just for those amount of races, right? I mean, like Talladega to Charlotte, we stretched it thin. We made it by the skin of our teeth. But we definitely did wanted to grow. And like I said, we've done everything in the off season that you could possibly imagine. We got rid of our dually and our gooseneck trailer. We've got us an actual lift gate and then a toter home. Like everything that we can take 2 cars to the track. Everything that we've done is from our transport to their own track performance to our employees. Having a full-time guy now, a crew chief, and Daryl Phillips. Like, it's all those things that we took necessary steps to help our program go. Realistic expectations for us this year would be, man, and this is putting it. A lot of people might say, "Oh, ARCA, ARCA," right? That's kind of been the saying for a couple years here and there, whatever. This is going to be the best year ARCA I think has seen in quite some time. I mean, guys are going to get sent home at Daytona. That's what it's looking like. I mean, there are cars that will be sent home at Daytona. That's huge to say, and it's kind of sad when you look at it that the Cup Series is the one series that's probably not sending anybody home like that. That's kind of a stinger, but the fact of where I believe ARCA is going, you're going to get better content. You're going to have better drivers. You're going to have better content on track, better performances. And so with that, it raises the bar because, ultimately like a Berlin or an Elko, right? You might not have the SVG show up, right? You might not have the Andy J or somebody like that. But your Kansas races, your Charlotte, your Michigan, you're gonna have pretty big fields. You're gonna have more competitive cars. So those finishes are gonna be a little tougher to obtain. But I believe realistically, we're shooting for top tens, man. Every weekend, top tens is what we're shooting for. A great day for us is gonna be a top 5. Daytona, Talladega, those ought to be races that we're going and we're competing for a win. That 100%. There's not going to be any shame in what we're going for. A lot of guys, we hang to the back, we hang to the rear, we do this, do that. I'm not going to sit here and say we're going to play it safe. My goal is to go to the front. You never know how many opportunities you're going to get at this. I know I've got a fast car, and I 100% am going to show people, hey, last year from Daytona to Talladega and what we did at Talladega is the same thing that we're going to do this day at Daytona this year. We're going to be the best qualifying effort we can go, and we're going to try to go to the front as fast as we can go. So that's my goal. And that's all I could take into Daytona. That's our first, plan of attack is Daytona. And from there, we're going to assess. But yeah, feel really good about the year. We're going to do very good, I feel like, or the best we can with what we have. And we'll just see how the season plays out.
We've been talking a lot about revealing the secret of that Coke machine over your shoulder, but I feel like you just revealed your game plan for Daytona. So hopefully that didn't give it away too much. But hey, if you bring a good enough car, we know you got the talent. I mean, you might be unstoppable. It doesn't matter how many times they reveal your plan. But thank you so much for joining the show. And I love that you mentioned the ARCA field because there are so many great drivers in it this year. It's going to be great to see qualifying be that competitive again. And I'm talking to Christian Rose tomorrow, and I've kind of become friends with Ryan Roulette, Brad Smith, some of those guys. And I'm really excited just for the state of ARCA right now, like you mentioned, because for years, the jokes, the memes that came from that series, man, you guys couldn't catch a break. And the respectability level that really series went down, and now it's back up, and it's guys like you doing it. That's the best part. I mean, just hardworking drivers. Yeah, absolutely. And I hope to see you in Victory Land. I believe February 17th. I think is when that race is. I can't remember what time it starts. My February show schedule is just a jumbled mess trying to work in that trip to Daytona and all that in there. But FS1, MRNC, Caleb, and the rest of the field there, thank you so much for joining the show. And we certainly wish you and the rest of the team the best of luck for 2024 and beyond. Looks like you got a bright future over there at Costner Weaver Motorsports.
Awesome. Thank you guys for having me. I appreciate the great words. And we look forward to putting on a good season, hopefully.